Hello everyone, welcome back to Faithful to the Traitors Down Under, Episode 3, Series 2.
I genuinely dread the
I did that quick though, so it was better.
The fact you know that you need to do it quickly means that you shouldn't really be doing it.
Yes, I should.
I'm your mum and I'm telling you.
Roger has told me it's okay and he approves.
Roger, you've heard nothing from Roger. He's mine. He's more mine.
Yes, this is Faithful to the Traitors, where we
Australia.
recap Down Under, where we recap the episode 3.
Series
I am
2.
Ben, the co-host and all-time faithful.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you?
I'm Alex.
Mm-hmm.
And as always, I'm a faithful. And there's someone else we need to say hello to as well.
It's like he knows I've sinned.
Evening, Annabelle.
She's so filthy, isn't she?
I know. I love the end of this soundbite. The last 0.24 of the second of this.
It's like he knows I've sinned.
That bit. That's the best bit. Yes. Evening, Annabelle.
Evening, Annabelle.
This is podcast.
I raise my mug to you.
Well, what an episode. We said last week that the Australian series is going like a million miles an hour.
Isn't it just?
And well, this one is like a series semi-final.
I mean, they're doing stuff so quickly.
I know. It's just...
Like this Sam and Ash throwback. This Sam and Ash like muck slinging at each other was insane.
All out war on episode 3.
It was.
We did
so
say
personal.
that Sam was going he was about 4 episodes ahead of himself here. And
even,
it continued on this one.
Well, even Blake said, like, you know, I said to him when Sam was trying to convince him to go for Ash, even Blake said, like, well, this feels a bit early, Sam. Yeah, we're gonna, what makes me laugh is that Blake knows is inevitable, that it will happen. Like, there's going to be backstabbing within the traitors. But yeah, you're doing it far too early.
Even Luke literally knew that Ash was a traitor, and he was like, but it's too early for me to expose her as a traitor.
I've got a lot to say about Luke, because I feel like Luke's lost a bit of steam.
Really?
When he first came into the show, he was bulldozing his ideas. He was really excited. He was really enthusiastic. He had full of energy.
He thought he was the king, didn't he? But little did he know Ash and Sam existed.
Yeah. Well, he wants to get rid of the traitors. Now he's not a traitor. He said from the beginning, he's like, right, I'm going to be a traitor hunter. But he's had that role taken away from him by Sam, unbeknown to him that Sam is a traitor. Yeah.
Yes.
And there's a friendship as well between Annabelle and Luke, I've noticed. They like going to the corners and having a little chat.
In their cardigans.
And, you know, stuff like that. They're sharing cardigans. Before we carry on, though, I must always remind people that you can get involved with the show. And we love it when you do get involved with the show. We read out your emails and your comments when you send them to us. And you can do it by finding us on X or Twitter, whatever you prefer to call it, at Traitors Podcast. We're on Instagram, at Faithful to the Traitors. And you can email us, faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. If you want to support the show, go to buymeacoffee.com/faithful. And don't forget to share all the links to this podcast if you enjoy listening to it with your friends. If your friends also enjoy listening to Traitors. Say, for instance, here's an idea. You've got your friends round. You've got a big bowl of Doritos, a single dip. Don't double dip. A 4-pack of beer. Because you've got to be sensible because you've got work the next morning.
It's hard not to double dip sometimes. You do forget when you're with people.
I mean, if you're in your own company, double dip all day long. Stick your fingers in, lick your fingers. Get rid of that dust. Then stick your finger around the rim of the jar and then give it a good taste. And then say to them, hey, you guys, after the show, I like listening.
But you're really popular. Hey, you guys.
Hey, you guys. After the show, you should go to Apple Podcast, Spotify, or any of your favourite podcast apps and download Faithful to the Traitors. Because that's a damn good podcast. And by doing that, you're sharing the love.
future podcasts no one ever asked for.
Exactly. Roger wants this podcast. Roger's screaming to get on this podcast, isn't he?
No, we don't want him.
No, it's us telling him we don't want him on here. It's not the other way around.
To speak to Roger.
I know. Why on earth would we speak to that
evil Roger with his casual wear this week?
I know,
trying to look like a bit like a vicar, but didn't quite.
He was
holding those rosemary
beads. Yeah. I was going to say that.
Clutching them in his strong hands.
Do you think he wrote his own riddles?
Yes.
Do you?
Of course. He wrote all his own scripts as well.
His script this episode, I should say, was
had a long
phenomenal.
monologue.
He had that monologue, didn't he?
He was
at the round table.
Because of what Guyton said
That's
to him
it.
last week.
Guyton got an award. Roger's been nominated, which is all he wants. But Roger got very excited. Roger went back to series 1, episode 1, Roger. And as he was reading out his long monologue, he was getting... You know when a child gets a little excited?
Yeah.
He was
Round
losing
and
his
round the
breath.
table.
Round the table. He was going... As he was going around, he was getting his asthma back again. The asthma that we haven't spoken about this series yet, but is an absolute
Trying to be
serious
respectful
problem.
in this series
Yes.
and up highbrow. But
This is never going to be a highbrow podcast.
It's like he knows I've sinned.
me when Roger walks in. Yes, so people can buy us a coffee. I think there may be a comment for an example of what you can do when buying a coffee.
Oh, goodness, yes, I had forgotten.
Just a little reminder there.
So thank you at Joe Clark 71. We doc.
The silver bar. So it's not buying a coffee.
You buy us a silver bar, and that silver bar is the equivalent of £5.
Yes.
It's
Our running price total in front of us and our round
Yeah.
table to keep us faithful.
If you could
and
see
our
it.
eye on the game.
As we said, our silver blocks are the equivalent of a Alexa remote control. So
Yes.
just think about that. And Joe had written a little message as well, which again, if you do, buy us a silver bar, you can write us a message, which we'll read out on the show. And Joe said, keep up the good work on the podcast. I am a faithful to you two. I'm not so sure. I
Putting
reckon
a bit too much.
I
there.
think Joe's putting too much emphasis. She
She's
capitalised
going to write
faithful.
her name on a bit of chalk.
not on a bit of chalk. You're going to use the chalk to write the name on a bit of slate. You could write on a bit of chalk.
Although there's quite an issue with the pens they're using on this series.
They
I think
use those whiteboard pens, don't they,
Yes.
on the Australian series?
made out of like Tipex or whatever they're made out of. But Australia Series 2 was going all high budget with their flashy, shiny graphics of names and sparkles that run along, and Roger calls his outfit
Wardrobe,
changes.
yeah. And extra character, Jeeves. We found out his name
Yes.
on social media, Jeeves the butler.
They seem to be very leaky pens. Every time Sam writes a name on it, it always leaks at the end of what he's written, and then it leaks down the side and across the bottom while it's sitting there waiting.
Amateurish.
And I think, who else is leaked? I think it was Paul's had a little leak.
It's something about the name Paul, isn't there? Why is it with Pauls, eh?
And leaking.
Why do all Pauls leak? It's because they're pushing down on the nib, that
They are,
fibre
yeah.
nib too hard.
They're
And
so angry by the end of the round circle.
ASH.
So yeah, they need to go back to chalk next series, I think. Just
Back
a little
to
hint
basics.
for everyone. Right, so we had a murder. I can't remember who got murdered because so much happened this episode.
Payden.
It was Payden.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he's gone.
No one can
Forever
figure out
forgotten.
why. No one can figure out why.
That's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
But this was nothing really said about Payden. Really, it was just that was the end of him.
I mean, this
So
is
bye.
it. I have nothing to say.
Bye, Payden. We love you.
What did they say he did? I forgot to write it down. It was a really weird. He's
What
like
his job?
yeah. He's like a data analyst or something.
How do you spell his name?
Paeden.
Oh, E-D-N. Graphic designer.
Graphic designer.
You don't
Roger,
need any more of them.
yeah, Roger said that, wasn't it? Roger.
Mr. Capitalist Roger over there.
This the first of Roger's first scripts that he was allowed to write himself. He's getting an EP credit now.
But it was Ash and Luke first at breakfast, wasn't it? Where she
Yes.
got her chance to question him and find out who'd been,
Throwing her name
who's
about.
put her name in their mouths.
Yep,
As
just her name.
Nicki Minaj would say.
And he was quite quick to say it was Sam. And then from that moment onwards,
I mean, he didn't want
became...
to, but she gave him a vicious look and was like, "Tell me before someone else walks through that door now." And he was like,
Sam,
"I've survived
sorry.
10 series of the Traitors, but nothing like Ash."
Survivor.
Survivor, sorry, Traitor.
It's
Yes.
because we've done 10 episode
I have.
series of the
Today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he did say it was Sammy. He has a little nickname for Sam. They must be friends. Sammy. That's what
Did
he
call him
calls him.
Sammy.
Sammy, yeah.
I didn't pick up on that.
My little Sammy.
But from that moment onward, it was basically, as I say, the Ash and Sam show. There was no avoiding it.
One of them needed to go, I fear.
I think
because
for everyone's sanity, because
Yeah.
it became absolute chaos
It
around
did.
that round table. At breakfast, everything was still quite calm and collected, and Ash asked him to pass her a hash brown.
Yeah, just throw me one over.
Throw me one over.
She was playing kind.
Yeah.
Complimented his shirt.
Yep, said it looked like it'd just been freshly
His
ironed,
ribbed-
laundered.
His
Yeah.
ribbed shirt, I noticed.
Was it ribbed for
It
her
was
pleasure?
ribbed.
But Luke wants nothing of this, because Luke said right at the top of the episode that he thinks that Sam's a traitor, but he also thinks Ash is a traitor.
Yeah, but it's
So-
a bit early for Ash for him to be going for that, he said. That's, Yeah.
So he's kind of inclined to kind of lean towards Sam. But like I said, it just turned into absolute chaos because everyone because
Sam doesn't let it rest.
Nor does Ash
he was just
though.
go get Ash out.
They put 50p in both of them and just let them go. Honestly, it was insane. Ash and Sam were just on a mission the whole day. Apart from that, even during the game, they were being competitive with each other.
Yeah, because they were against each other,
Yeah.
running to the confession booth.
So they were being competitive there as well, and it was
Detrimental to the team.
I mean, they're fine for the team because they made a bit more extra money. Their prize pot is now 72,000 Australian dollar.
Yeah, that's what we like to see.
Yep, money.
Adding up.
Yeah, so it's all right for them. But I mean, it just kept going around in circles. I mean, there was a few other names thrown out. Sarah believes Camille, but she has no tangible evidence.
No, it's just a feeling in her gut.
Just a feeling inside of her.
Ash thought Hannah.
Ash did think Hannah. See, Hannah kind of became a casualty in this.
I know.
Because Hannah was being pulled from one group to the next. Like, Ash was saying that Sam was saying about her. Sam was saying the same. And they were both right because they were both saying about each other that Hannah. So they were using Hannah as a third wheel almost.
It was really confusing because Sam was trying to get rally numbers up. And the way he does it is really... like not subtle, and he just literally runs up to groups and people say, right, it's Ash, I've got all these names numbered 100%, and then people are like, oh, I just spoke to blah blah and they're not 100%. He's like, oh no, they are 100%. And then he runs to another group, blah blah blah, Ash 100%, and it's just
you
like,
have to vote
he starts shouting at Annabelle, which made her not want to vote for Ash.
And that's when Annabelle and Luke had their little private chat.
Yes.
And they talk to each other. I feel like that's a good friendship between Annabelle and Luke. I think that them two together are a
Unexpected.
good team.
Yin and yang.
But also I think together they're quite influential. I think Annabelle and Luke are quite an influential couple in the house. Not a romantic couple. Don't be romantically involved.
House? You mean hotel?
Sorry, in the hotel.
Rogers Hotel.
The Roger Inn.
Hostel. Rogers Hostel.
In the Rogers Inn. Luke, there's a good bond between Annabelle and Luke, and I hope that they stick together throughout the rest of the show.
If you can trust Luke, though. Because if he turns into a traitor as the series goes on, then...
Oh, no, Luke will be horrible if he became a traitor, but as a faithful, I think he's a very, very strong person to have on your team. I think if they
What a little shit.
I think if they lost Luke as a traitor, I think they're going to be in trouble there. And I also believe that Sam and Blake know that. So obviously we'll talk about what happened.
Blake's all right, though. He's just sailing through.
He's hamburgling, isn't he? He's
He is.
sneaking through with his quarter pounders.
No one's mentioning him. No one's suspecting him. He's just there. He's like Gloria. She's just there, sailing through, loving it. So
I think Blake is actually playing probably the best game as a traitor because he's not dropping like names, but when he hears names being dropped around him, he's then able to persuade people further that direction. Where Sam is just going bang, 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 name, Hannah, Ash. Everyone he was throwing out at one point. Luke. I think he said Luke's name at one point. He's just and
Ash was doing the same, but trying to get Sam.
Well, it was just chaos.
It was chaos. So they were both bad traitors, and Sam is still. I don't think Sam is particularly a good traitor. It's just that he's won against Ash because she sort of lost her cool a bit too much. But I don't actually think Sam's playing it that well. He's playing it far too erratic and aggressive. And like he's very intense, and it's like you're not coming across as a faithful. And I think quite a lot of people actually know that he's now still not faithful.
Although they believe because of this situation, what Sam doesn't know is that everyone's talking behind his back saying you're clearly a traitor.
And even if the vote went the other way and Sam went and Ash stayed, I think everyone then think Ash was a traitor. Well, I think they both just messed up everything from each other. Oh yeah, and Blake was just sitting there.
But this is it. Blake's gotten away with it. So unless Sam goes and makes a beeline for Blake now, I think that Blake is in a pretty safe situation. I mean...
Which he will... I imagine he will go for Blake because he's very ruthless, Sam is.
Yeah, oh no, absolutely.
So I think he needs to watch out.
I mean, if we'll talk about like the end part in a second, because I just want to go further with this, like the round table, because it became really personal between Sam and Ash. Let's be honest. It became super personal. It stopped being about the game. It stopped being about trying to eliminate one another because they wanted the money. It literally became who was better at this game and trying to who had the biggest balls. Let's be honest, who was Billy Big Balls in that room? Like the egos between them was like, I'm surprised there was room for anyone else there. That's probably why Roger couldn't breathe, because the air could be cut with a
oxygen levels
knife.
were very low.
Yeah, it was just so insane. And unfortunately, that's kind of led the group to almost splinter off a little bit, with Gloria and Paul being two of them who said that they are now going to not listen to anyone else, and they're literally going to vote who they want to vote for.
Yeah,
so
a few of them did that, didn't there? Some odd votes.
Which is
around the
causing odd votes. There was an odd, basically it started tonight in this episode. The votes were all over the place. Like one for Sarah, one for Camille, one for Ian, one for Keith. It's
What's
just,
Keith done?
What
eh?
has Keith done?
Poor
Nothing.
Keith.
Poor old Cheggers. He's like he's sweet old Keith.
Before we move on, we had a VT for one of our contestants, Roa.
Oh yes! Oh my goodness! I can't believe there's so much has happened in this episode. We've forgotten
know.
that we need to go back and look at
I'm going to
Roa's.
be remembered for the blue shirt.
Roa said in his VT, until you do his fact, before we do his fact file, that he'll instantly think that someone's a traitor due to their dress sense.
Well, his
I feel
quote
that's
says,
a flaw.
I can spot an untrustworthy person if they wear all black shoes with white socks.
So not if you're in trouble, then if you're a blues brother, basically.
This is a fashion no-no. Do not come at me if you're wearing all black shoes and white socks. It's giving school kid.
No, I'll give him that. It's a fair point.
Yeah.
I hope Roger's not worn them.
Probably has, but he pulls it off with his dashing turtleneck desire.
He pulls it off, does he?
The socks off, yes.
Pull your socks off.
He works in luxury fashion, but he's also a natural entertainer, a self-taught dancer, and a creative director for a dance studio. He knows a thing or two about body language and expects this to come in handy on the Traitors Australia. When it comes to being selected as a traitor or faithful, Roa believes he'll excel in either role. He's very versatile. I added that bit on. If I'm faithful, traitors, this is my message for you. So you listening, Sam? You better sleep with one eye open, because I'm watching your every move, your every outfit, and everything you say. I'm coming for you, he promises.
Christ, vicious Roa.
So,
He sounds like Jack from Will and Grace, like self-taught dancer, actor, triple threat.
I'm going to be remembered for the blue shirt.
so yes, that was his fact file, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that.
I feel
as
like
much
I've
as I
learned
did.
nothing more from that. From what I presumed Roa was, the personality of Roa. I feel like that's kind of
Well, it's a good sign of an
cemented
edit,
it.
a good edit then.
Yes, absolutely.
Episode 3, we already know everything about
We
him.
all knew about Roa,
That's his-
and they just filled in the little gaps that were left over with that VT. So I'm glad of
Yes.
that.
So
I'm pleased.
votes all over the place. Some people going forward may be playing the game in silence, not saying who they're voting for until they're at the round table with their ink pen dripping everywhere.
One of them is a dripper, which is Paul.
Paul, yes.
Paul, Ian, and Gloria have decided they're from this going forward.
I
they are
didn't
not
manage to
sharing their
spot
vote.
what Gloria's message was on her thing. She wrote something under Ash's name today with her flowers and hearts.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, she writes something every time.
Piss off.
No, it's normally something nice and sweet and lovely.
Gloria's
but
lovely, isn't she? Can we discuss how lovely Gloria
Not enough
is?
screen time.
She fell asleep in the coffin. She was that relaxed. There was Annabelle screaming.
Annabelle doing her
Murder.
sound bites every
Yeah.
10 seconds.
Annabelle knows how to get a
soundbite.
soundbite, doesn't she? Let's be honest.
We're
Annabelle,
restricting them.
we're having to pull back a little bit here, Annabelle, because otherwise we're just
It's
gonna
like he knows I've sinned.
we're gonna have to. Otherwise, we're gonna have a soundboard of just Annabelle.
Exactly,
She's
can't
very
have that.
smart, Annabelle. She knows how to get into the edit. She's not like Paul from series 1.
No.
No, by no stretch.
Constantly talking about the cameraman.
Yeah. So, it was your favourite game, this one, wasn't it? The one where they have to solve a riddle and they have to then find the object that relates to the
yes,
riddle. But
yes,
they
yes.
changed things up a little bit by locking someone in a coffin.
Yes, with
Felt a bit
padlocks.
unnecessary.
But no one knows what Roger really gets his kicks from, do we, really?
He was getting his kicks, wasn't he? Like, he likes to cosplay.
Acting the vicar. Yeah, there was a riddle.
There
This
was.
is the ongoing theme in the series of this podcast, because this has appeared in... I think it's appeared in every single version we've watched, actually, this riddle one.
Oh, yeah. In the Australian version, twice.
Yeah,
This is
the
the
New
second time
Zealand
they've
one, the
played.
American one, and the English one. Yeah,
It's a good game if you think about it. It's a simple game.
It is good. Apart from the New Zealand one where it was Bible quotes, but that was just
I thought that was clever, actually. I thought, goodness me, you'd have to find someone like .com.
Well, this
to
one
know
you
that-
had to like you had to like, remember the whole riddle, and they weren't short
That was
riddles,
tough.
were they?
Australia's, they like making tough challenges in
know.
Australia.
I couldn't remember. I didn't understand any of them. I can't get any of them. Anyway, so what I do every time we have this this mission, is
I
there
couldn't
missions?
understand any of them, but I'm going to make Alex try to guess one
Yeah,
now.
I always give Alex a riddle, and you, of course, listeners, if Alex doesn't get it. So the riddle that I had sent to me by Roger Mail.
Was it by pigeon or by owl?
It was a pigeon which has Roger's face. No, it has Roger's haircut, but it's a pigeon.
Oh, that's cute.
And it was attached around his neck. You know, he was wearing a turtleneck jumper. Anyway, what can go up a chimney down, but can't go down a chimney up? You have
I know.
10 seconds to get the lock.
It's a sweep, a brush. A chimney sweep's brush.
No. They can go up and down.
Oh,
can't
smoke. Steam. Smoke. Steam. Smoke. Smoke.
it? What? Smoke goes up a chimney down.
Oh, up a chimney down.
Up a chimney down, but can't go up a chimney up.
Up a chimney down.
Down a chimney up. What can go up a chimney down,
Yeah.
but can't go down a chimney up?
Pigeon.
Roger Pigeon.
A Roger pigeon.
I'll let you think about it. Everyone, that gives you all an excuse to get in touch with us.
If you know the answer to that.
If you're listening on Spotify, you can give it as the answer on this podcast as a thing, and we'll see it as a interaction. But otherwise, I'm going to be locked in a coffin for a while.
That's not a bad thing, is it? You can do some. You can shout out.
It's like he knows I've sinned.
So Ash ended up going then. She got the most votes.
the vote. But I mean, she got
The
8.
vicious votes.
She got 8.
She ruined the
votes.
whole thing by she shouted at Sam to say, "Shut up, I'm still speaking."
Yeah, and then the whole group were kind of like, "Oh, calm down, Ash." Yeah,
that
she
get you out.
she lost it there. But then this is where Ash then.
She almost had it, I feel.
If she'd
Almost.
stayed calm, I think she could have won that exchange with Sam, because you could tell by Sam that he was nervous by what he was doing, because
Yes.
he was
Very dry.
He was very dry.
In his crisp white rimmed cotton shirt.
Absolutely. But then this is where the thing got a bit crazier, because then Sam accused Ash of backstabbing Hannah.
Yes.
And Hannah was like, "Oh, that's not very nice."
Did you know she was throwing your name around as
Yeah.
a blind side?
And then Roa then said, "Oh, but Sam, you did the exact same thing to Hannah." And poor
Yeah.
Hannah was just kind of sat there thinking,
Oh,
hang
yeah,
on.
I know. Because she was a bit heartbroken at Ash because she thought she was friends with Ash. And she thought, actually, no, because Sam's proving he's on my side here, actually. So she was a bit uplifted. And then we get the revelation that actually Sam was also throwing Hannah's name around along with Ash.
good is it for Hannah?
No.
I mean, I feel
What's
like
she done, eh?
I'm wondering what they've done, for what Hannah's done to
I love
to get
Hannah's
this.
stare. The editors keep putting it in when she's around the round table. They just show her blankly staring into the distance.
Oh, what? Thinking about what she's done in her life to be in this
No,
horrible
it's an interesting
situation.
stare. I like it. It's iconic.
Camille is out of trouble as well.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone kept saying her name at the top of the episode.
Yeah, she was wearing a lovely hat at breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a bit quiet this episode. Everyone was quiet this episode because Ash and Sam took up so much screen time.
Yeah, they just
Now that Ash, I'm quite glad that Ash is gone. Actually, even though she was quite funny and she has some good lines and stuff, she was a bit much.
What a little shit.
So I'm quite glad. I was just like, yeah, I can relax a bit now. Now Ash is gone, and the others can come out a bit because there's a few that we haven't seen enough of. I feel. Gloria, Ian, Keith,
Gloria, we need to see more of. Yep, Ian, we need to see more
Paul,
of.
Sarah, Simone. We've hardly seen Simone.
Yeah, but again, her name keeps getting brought up all the time. So there's something we're not seeing. But all the time, Simone's name they keep saying Simone is influential. I don't see that influence anywhere in the game.
No, because at the end, once Ash went, she was a traitor. She didn't. I was expecting her to do like a big, like little, like I know who the traitors are, and like look at them or give some hints to someone. But she didn't. She just said, "I'm a traitor," and then walked off. And even cut to a commercial in between to like make us
think
On
that
the
she
edge
was
of
going
our
to say something,
seats.
very epic, and it was going to be like.
I wonder if they've changed the
life-inspiring.
rules a bit where they're not allowed to do that anymore since the UK one kind of ruined the whole game. By
Well,
doing that.
to be fair, a few people did say that kind of ruined the ending. of
maybe
the
they're
UK
not
version.
allowed. They're only allowed to say, I am a traitor, for I am a faithful.
Hmm.
Because I remember someone asked someone somewhere online
Right.
and they said, can you lie and say, I am a faithful, even though you're not, but you're not allowed to lie. When you're on there, you have to say the truth.
Whether you're faithful or traitor.
Yeah, so maybe they've tightened it and you're only allowed to say that now.
I mean, the UK, I mean, I don't know if there were other versions before the UK version, so we don't know if other versions also had someone who kind of said, I'm a traitor, and so
Watch
someone
out
else.
for blah, blah, yeah.
Yeah, watch out for blah, blah, blah. But you can there's still ways of, unfortunately for Ash's situation, because it was a battle between her and Sam, one of the ways you can kind of like let people know that someone else
Vote.
could be a traitor is by voting for that other
I think
person.
they did a good enough job to mess
Oh,
each other up.
Sam's messed
gone
himself
next
up.
episode, I
Sam has
feel.
shot himself in the foot, and he has to do something pretty special to not shoot himself, get him to not get banished from the show. Which leads us nicely to when they get to the
Two
towers.
traitors left.
So the two
They
traitors
planned their
left.
murder.
They planned their murders. They were going to go for either Paul, who
Paul.
won't be. Well, they're saying he won't be banished. He's too independent. He's a renegade.
Yeah.
he does his own things. He sets his own rules. He doesn't listen
They
to
don't
what
like
they're meant
that.
to do. Yeah, and so he can't be swayed by anyone. But at the same time, he's not really within the group either. So he's never going to get eliminated the natural way.
Yeah, because Simone came up, but they did kind of say, but she votes the way we want her to. So
They can manipulate
Yeah.
her if they wanted to. But then
I can't remember who the third one was. There a third?
there was no
option?
third one. It was just two.
Oh, that was it. And then knock
because
at the door.
then knock, knock, knock.
Huff up the stairs.
Yeah. His inhaler. And there he was. The Vision in navy blue. whatever he
Even
wore.
in midnight, he's
Yeah.
looking fresh. Yes, he came with a offer to seduce in the night.
I wish he. I mean, yes, Roger did. He called it the Traitor's Dilemma, which forever forward I will call it that. The Traitor's Dilemma.
Quite the dilemma. Should they? I mean, episode 3. It's early in the series.
Not as early as the New Zealand series.
Yes, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's happened earlier in the past.
It has. Do they go for it? I mean, I think Sam, his days are already numbered. Will he look at this as a reset tomorrow morning at breakfast if they do bring one in? Because then that can just reset the game a bit.
It'd be interesting to see who ultimately gets the decision if they do recruit or seduce, whatever you want to call it. And that person, don't forget, they can say no as well. But who ultimately makes the decision, whether it would be Blake or Sam? I think if Sam makes the decision, then Sam will continue his traitory ways and get rid of Blake. So I think Blake needs to be super careful here.
Yeah, Blake needs to get someone who will be on his side.
He does, 100%. But I can't think of anyone who, for either of them, I can't think of anyone who's particularly leans friendship-wise. The only one I can think of is Luke.
Luke, that's what I was thinking. I think Luke must be the only one that would be a good idea to bring in.
I think Luke is the only option they
if
have.
you can trust him. That's the thing. I don't know.
I think I trust Luke. I do think I trust
Isn't
Luke.
he like a notorious player in Survivor?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
I've
from-
not seen him in any of the
From
show,
the
but-
experience of this show, I would trust Luke. But then that's my naivety of Australian reality television. I don't know enough of them to kind of say if they're 100% or not.
I don't know who. Or bring in Paul. And
I'm
force
going to
him
say
not to
Paul
be
or Gloria.
Mr. Switzerland.
I would go for one of the three people who each said that they wouldn't. They're going to go off on their own and vote for themselves. So Gloria, Ian, or Paul. Genuinely, they're one of those three. The thing is that I think Paul would accept it. I think Ian would accept it, but I don't think Gloria would.
Too pure.
Gloria's far too kind. This isn't a show for me. I think Gloria suits, but then I want to be surprised. I want to be in episode 6 or 7, because that's when things tend to ramp up more than they have already. I want Gloria to be like coming out guns blazing, like going, right, this is it. She's like, puts her hands together, right? Who am I going to get
She's the one
sorted
doing
now?
the stupid gun signals instead of Sam.
Yeah. She's
Backstab
shooting
Sam and got rid of
Sam,
him.
shooting Blake.
Yeah, I
She's the
don't know.
renegade. She's on her own. She's going to be a traitor on her own. She will
They've-
never take.
They've not
the
even left it on a hint
seduction.
of who they're thinking of or anything, have they? So we don't know. Yes, interesting. I mean, Luke makes sense.
Luke
them
is the
to-
obvious one. Yeah.
to recruit if they can trust him. But I don't know if Sam trusts him. Or because he's worked him out, he might bring him on to stop him exposing
I
him.
think Sam and Luke would be tight if they got together.
Won't go against Blake.
They go against Blake.
I'll bring in Keith. Is there any answer then?
Cheggers, I think I don't think Keith would be any good. I really
I
don't.
don't care.
I've just noticed Hannah looks like Gillian Tailforth in that picture that I've got in front of me.
A little bit of a Tish Dean pose with the hand.
Yeah, I see that. There's a reference that no one in Australia probably will get, so we apologise straight away. But yeah, no, very exciting series for Australia. I'm telling you. I know we're not allowed to talk about the New Zealand series, but both the New Zealand and the Australian series, pretty good. Pretty good fun.
Very good in different ways. The Australian one is just been a bit it's just been hectic.
It's chaos in Australia right now. Absolute chaos.
I feel that now Ash is gone though, it may just calm down a bit, hopefully.
Oh no, 100%. But then that's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be quite plain sailing from this moment onwards. If they choose to murder and not seduce, which I don't think they will. I think they'll choose to seduce. I think that when Sam's gone, it's going to be quiet, nice, calm waters, and then another episode kind of plodding along, and then it's going to go ramp back up again.
Yeah, if they do seduce and the game's being reset, how long will it take for Sam to throw Blake's name?
Oh, next episode.
It's like, I think he was recruited last night.
Yeah, 100% next episode. Sam will do
And
it
he'll probably
all over
tell
again.
Luke, who he thinks he doesn't know he's a traitor, but Luke does know that Sam's a traitor. So now Luke will then know that Blake and Sam are traitors.
Sam will...
He gets the answers from Sam without knowing it.
Unless Sam gets banished, which it strongly... it's a strong possibility that it will happen. I think Sam will just banish all the traitors. And then every time he tries to recruit, because he'll be told you need to recruit, everyone will say no, and so then it will get to a position where he'll someone will have to say yes.
Oh, we'll find out then.
So exciting, isn't it? Ooh.
Remember the riddle, everyone.
Yeah. When are
What
you
can
going to
go
tell
up
us?
a chimney down, but can't go down a chimney up?
When are you going to tell us the solution to this next episode?
Yeah, next episode. But you can comment on the podcast and stuff
Yes. So if that
on
riddle,
Spotify. It will be the question of the week, the episode.
well, the episode. So one episode.
Yeah.
If you want to also talk to us about what's happening in Australia generally, politics, television, or if you want to keep it more, about the traitors, that's fine too. You can do on Twitter /X at Traitors Podcast, on Instagram at Faithful to the Traitors. You can email us if you've got a nice long question, if you've got a nice long one for us.
It's like he knows I've sinned.
faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. Send us your Roger love. I want some Roger fan fiction.
Yeah, I've still not watched Roger a TV show. I need to watch that later.
Give us suggestions
/ movie.
Give us suggestions of what TV show / movie we should watch Roger in. Top 10, top 5, top 3.
Yeah. Well, there you
Who
go.
am I? Hang on.
Oh, have you not done? What do you need to do
People
now?
can also help fund the podcast by going to buymeacoffee.com/faithful, or just by sharing this podcast to all your friends and giving us a 5-star review if you enjoy listening with a comment. And if you put the comment as... where is it?
That's what?
The comment that we tell people to say, Roger's here looking good.
What, in the review?
If you do that in the review, somehow shoehorn it somewhere, then we'll read out your review on the show as well.
Yeah, you could be like, this podcast is so great. It's almost better than how good Roger looks.
There you go. There's an
For
example.
example, 5 stars. So there you go then. So that's another episode of Faithful to the Traitors Down Under. That was good. And we will see you again very soon for the next episode of Roger's Wardrobe.